All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. I don't know if we'll have anybody else join us or not, but we're excited that you're here with us today, Lizzie. So my name is Jamie, and I am a program manager STEM here at Girl Scouts of Central Indiana, and I have with me Kristen, who's also a program specialist in STEM here at the Math and Science Center. So great, it looks like you're going to try to gather some things to build alongside of us, which will be awesome. And we've got a short little video to play to start with, so you'll have a little more time. But if you don't have those supplies, that's okay. You can help me design the car I have as well. So Kristen and I are both with Girl Scouts, and we're excited to have you here. And if you are a Girl Scout, we are excited to let you know we've got a Girl Scout patch that's with this program. So if you didn't sign up for that, just let us know before you leave, and we can make sure to get you that information on how to do that. So we are going to talk about balloon car racers today. And so we're going to talk a little bit about energy and the energy that we need to build those kind of cars. So I'm going to start by playing my video, and let's see if we can get that to go.
Hi, I'm Jamie, Program Manager STEM for Girl Scouts of Central Indiana, and I'm excited to be here with you today for our first ever virtual Celebrate Science Indiana. Today we are going to look at an activity that has to do with energy. So you might have had your parents tell you you're full of energy, which is true. We use chemical energy to do all of those things that our body normally does, so breathe, our heart to beat. But then we also, from the food we eat, get energy to run around and do work. So energy is basically defined as the ability to do work. Today, we're not going to talk about chemical energy, which is the energy we use most often. We're going to talk about something called mechanical energy, which is the energy that we find all around us. And mechanical energy has more to do with the ability to move objects. And it comes really in two forms. The first form is potential energy, or sometimes called stored energy. This is the energy really related to position. So like on a roller coaster, when a car is at the top of the hill, it's full of potential energy because it's just waiting for gravity to pull it back down to the earth. So once it starts moving, then that energy is transferred to what we call kinetic energy, or energy of movement. And this is what causes the cars to move through the rest of the track. So we've got our race car here. Let's turn it on. As you can see, we have to have a little extra help to get it to the top of the hill because it doesn't have any energy right at the moment. Now that it's at the top of the hill, you see it races down and goes through the rest of the track. That is the kinetic energy. So here again, we're full of potential energy, and now it's transferred to kinetic energy. There's another principle at work here called the conservation of energy. And this is simply that energy has to go from one form to the other. It doesn't get added or taken away from a system. Now, you might say, well, but the car slows down and it needs help getting back to the top. That's because we don't live in a perfect world. So a little bit of energy, it's not lost, it's just transferred to a form where we can no longer use it. So there's other forces at work, such as air resistance and friction. Air resistance is just from the air pushing in on it, and friction comes in this case from where the cars race against the track. They'll rub, and if this were a real roller coaster, you might find that the track often gets hot after it goes through a ride, and that's because of the friction has heated it up. Now, we have other places that we find kinetic and potential energy all around us. So we've got some other sources here. You might have seen this is called Newton's cradle, and it's often a big example of how energy is transferred. So the balls on the Newton's cradle will sit there and not do anything unless a force, which in this case would be me, acts upon it by pulling it backwards. And then as it swings down, you'll notice I pulled two balls back, and so it pushes two balls forward. And those swinging will go back and forth until, in this case, air resistance slows it down a little by little each time, and it will eventually stop. We've got other sources. You might have played with one of these, and oh, mine just lost a wheel. This is a mousetrap car, and in this case, if I can get the wheel popped back on, The potential energy comes in the form of the spring. So when we pull the arm of the mousetrap back, and I'm going to take this string and I'm going to twist it around the axle. So what will happen when we release the spring is that it will force that axle to spin, and when that axle spins, our energy transfers in the form of the car moving forward. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but if I let the spring go, you can see that the wheels are turning. Another common place that we find potential energy stored is in a rubber band. How many of you have ever built a catapult before? In this case, we pull the spoon back and we see we stretch out the rubber band. So we've pulled that potential energy back, and if we were to put the ball on it and then let go, you see how the potential energy has now been converted into the ball and it flies forward. What we're going to actually do today is we're going to build a race car using a balloon and just some basic household items. So I'll be right back with you to start that construction. Hi, I'm Jamie, program manager.
Hang on. We don't need to listen to it again. I see. So Anastasia, great to have you join us as well. So great. So we are going to build a race car, and I'm going to need a little help from you girls that are on. So I'm going to switch my camera so that you guys can see me a little closer up here. You won't be able to see my face. Well, yeah, you will. So I may have to move this down. So here's my store-bought balloon car. Now we're going to build one of our own out of everyday things that we can find. But what are some important pieces to our balloon car? What's going to be important for our car to have? What are some things you can think about? You can send them to us in the chat function. So Anastasia, you got one? Let's see if we can unmute you.
A.
Yep. Okay. So, yep, we got you. Oh, now you're muted again. There we go. So what's something you think is important for us to have?
A wheel or a body.
Yep. We're going to need those two different things. We're going to need a body and we're going to need a wheel. Lizzie, do you have any suggestions you think we need to make sure that we have?
A balloon.
A balloon. Yeah. That way we'll use for our power. So I've got some different things here that I can use for my body, because that's probably the best place for us to start building our car. I've got some cardboard or I've got some balsa wood. What do you girls think we should build ours out of?
Cardboard.
Cardboard? Okay.
It's lighter.
Cardboard because it's lighter. Yeah, because we're going to have to use the air in our balloon. That's where we're going to put our potential energy, and we're going to have to use that. So we want to make sure that that will push it forward. But balsa wood is also a very light wood. It's not very heavy. So we're going to take our piece of cardboard and we're going to cut it down, because I don't need a car that's this big. Maybe a car that's about half that size, don't you think? So if you've got a piece of cardboard, if you can cut yours down, and be careful using scissors, or in this case, I've got a box cutter. If you're using a box cutter, make sure you've got some grown-up help. So I've cut mine about this big. I've got a ruler here that happens to tell us that we can use. So I ended up cutting mine about 7 inches by about 5 inches. So Anastasia, do you have your body of your car ready to go? You don't know? Oh. And Lizzie, since you don't have your camera on, which is fine, I just don't know if you get stuck somewhere. And if you do, you can just kind of let us know. There you are. All right, so I've got my little piece of cardboard. Now you girls said we needed wheels. That was something else. And I've got lots of different options for wheels. Can you girls tell me what that is?
It looks like a bottle cap.
It is a bottle cap. It is a bottle cap. And then I've got a store-bought wheel. I've got 2 different sizes. And then I've got these poker chips that have a hole in them that we can use as a wheel. What else might make a good wheel if we don't have those things? What else do you think we could use?
Like a ball.
Okay, maybe
Like
a ball.
bouncy ball.
Yeah, that might be a little hard to get attached to our car, but that might work. We could even make wheels out of cardboard. So I'm going to get my other piece of cardboard back out, and we just need to find something circular.
I know
Yeah.
something that could also make it move. If you blow up a balloon really, really big and then you let it go, then it just goes.
Well, that's kind of what we're going to do in the end. But yeah, you could just tape your balloon on there, but then it wouldn't necessarily be a car that rolls. So I just traced my circles and drew 4 circles onto a piece of cardboard, and then we could cut those out. And how many wheels do you think we need to have for our car? Should we have 25 wheels?
4.
That might be a really big car. I'm just cutting my wheels out of my cardboard. And I think I'm going to do a mix. I'm going to use 2 cardboard wheels, and then because I've got the store-bought wheels, I'm going to use a couple of those too. All right, I see everybody getting their wheels together. So we'll kind of pause and let you get your wheels together there. Clear my workstation out. I've also got CDs. You could use those as wheels, or DVDs, but make sure you've got permission to use those. So how are you girls doing? So I see Lizzie's drawing some wheels. She says it's not freezing none. So I've got a response. What network are you on? Try the secured network.
But it's not even getting the girl lines, it's just the dot and let the girls been posting for a while.
Try switching over to the other. So we're having some IT issues on our other computer, so we're going to try to fix that while you guys are getting your wheels cut out. And All right, so I see Anastasia's got 4 wheels and you've got a body. So now we've got to attach those wheels to the body of our car. And I know, Lizzie, you're still working on cutting out your tires, which is okay. So if we look at our model car here, you can see it's got something across the middle that our wheels are attached to, and that's an axle. And we need to be able to, if we just tape our, like I've got a stick here, if I just stick my wheels on that, and then we tape that to the body of our car, what's going to happen? Any ideas? Will our tires move? Well, if we just tape it, our tires probably won't move. So actually, if you use a straw, we'll be able to put a straw on it so that the straw will move. So what we're going to do is you're going to take a straw and cut it in half. And I've lost my scissors somewhere on my table. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can kind of see mine didn't end up the same size, but about in half. And then we're going to tape them to our bottom of our car. So I got some zebra print duct tape going on here. But any kind of tape that will hold it on there will work just fine. Do you see how I've got mine taped there? And I'll kind of hold up and pause and wait for you guys to kind of catch up. So we're going to have to kind of keep moving a little bit. So, oops, that was